Biggs, it's Jason. Sorry to leave a voicemail. I thought we had a really strong connection last night, but honestly, when I went to the bathroom, I overflowed the thing. I made a big mess. I was so embarrassed. I just ran out. Think we could hang out still, though?
To Alec Guinness, who's very, very English, and has a very, very English accent. It's very interesting, because he actually pulls it off pretty well, because his real accent is way different.
Oh, he's got that video.
Yeah, he does. He sounds like Fat Bastard.
Once that I spied my little eye, Andor, Cassian Andor, talk about Andor, Cassian Andor, he's a rebel spy, super bad friend, give you a hug at the very end, make that man feel like 100. He's the road one for me. Keep you ass up. He's not in the show. Is he a fish or a thief? He's Cassian Andor. Cassian Andor. Cassian Andor. With MakingStarWars.net.
Hello, I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net. This is Force Ghost Rob. And
Hey,
let's get back to Derek. How's it going, dude?
great man. How you doing? How are you guys? Happy to be
Great.
here.
Yeah, good times. We also might have Nick from Bob Podcast, from Investment Bulletin's podcast. I'm not sure. I think he's coming, but you never know. He's probably taking a shit or something. Yeah. How you doing, Rob? Sorry, didn't mean to skip over you, Rob.
It's okay. I'm not really on the show anymore.
Yeah, he's a force
Just
ghost anyway, so
I'm corporally interested. You know, like whatever. James and Nick killed me last night with their sick disses. You know, Jason too. Like
Me? I didn't diss you at all. I just said I wanted to hear your opinion about you were saying like the episode was okay, Bick should have smiled more, and I just wanted you to explain yourself. That's all.
You got. Hey, I got my Avatar ticket.
You did? Nice.
Did.
Josh, are you gonna do the Avatar? Are you on the Avatar train? You gonna bother with that? Or are you off the Avatar train? Not on the Avatar train?
not.
He's on
not
the
a fan.
Boogaloo train.
The electric
Absolutely.
All right.
Breaking 2. Yeah.
All right. I like it.
So well, good work, Rob. You're officially only semi a fake Avatar fan now. You know, I mean, you're like the second biggest Avatar fan now, since you got your ticket, but you still don't have the poster, so whatever. Anyways, you guys watch the Andor show? We all watched that show. Have we seen it?
Yeah.
That show called Andor Part 12. You know,
It's all right.
yeah. No, actually, I thought it would be interesting to have you on for this one. I mean, we wanted to have you on before, but this is how it worked out. But I was like kind of interesting because you had some, like when I was watching Scare Factor Dark, you kind of had some like ambivalence at times about the show. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't hitting you super
Sort of all the time, really, not just at
Really?
times. Yeah, I have lots of notes. So.
Oh shit! All right.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It just the character doesn't. Yeah, exactly. That's my lovely co-host there. Yeah. No. The character of Andor just doesn't really connect with me, and even though I love the production of the series, I just never found myself invested in anything that was really going on.
Yeah.
But what if he was blue and had a tail, Josh? Like, would that? Come on.
Only if it was in water. So we did kind of get a little bit of water after the prison. So you know, I'm only
after the prison.
I'm only interested in blue people in the water.
The whole thing was ran by water.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Water made that whole prison move.
Hey, Mr. Nick, how are you?
Hello there, sir.
Yeah. So,
How you doing, sir?
Man, you guys, you and Bespin, you guys got the impression down. Like
Oh,
it's
ASAP.
fun. It's fun to play. It's fun to play Fortnite with Bestman Bulletin because he just goes and he's just that character the whole time. You feel like Cyril Karn.
I
You
need
feel
to get on
you
this.
feel
I need
like
to
you
hear
can
this.
feel your mom breathing down your neck the whole time. It's weird. Yeah,
Nice.
super creepy.
Actually, I quite like that.
But yeah, I wanted to. How about you, Nick? Like you were I think you skewed mostly positive on Andor. Would you say
Oh
that?
yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh yeah,
thought so.
massively. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because
We just finished recording ourselves not too long ago. Me and Bez's been pretty much in full agreement. This might be the best so far we get from Disney. Obviously, see what season 2 does, but yeah, regarding Star Wars, yeah, this definitely for me personally, I'll say for me, it's definitely right up my street. This is something I was waiting for a very long time, I think. So,
But Nick,
yeah.
would it be even better if Andor and Bix could wrap their tails together and have cyber sex? Wouldn't it be better? Would it be better?
Well, if
Come
that
on.
Deirdre and
Think about it.
I keep calling it Deirdre and Cyril scene had gone on a little bit longer, I just would like to have seen what happened in that room because I reckon they're still in there. In that little.
She owes Cyril some ass. I'm just saying that right now. So he saved her, so she owes it to him. I'm just putting that out there.
I think he's gonna get it. I honestly think he's gonna have to take her to like Sizzler, like Shrimp Fest.
Oh, she's gonna definitely need to be fed first. Yeah,
he's gonna.
No way. We all know Dedra's an Olive Garden. Dedra's an Olive Garden girl, dude. For real.
She likes the unlimited breadsticks.
Endless breadsticks. Yeah.
She can't stop. She's like, you dip it in the minestrone and it's like a free meal. Like, Dedra, you're weird. But
pan over, Cyril's mom sitting right there. We could have gone to Red Lobster. I wanted to go to the Red Lobster. Always go to Olive Garden.
In high school, I was a dishwasher at Olive Garden. And then I became the salad boy. I tossed more salads at Olive Garden than anybody you've ever known.
And then Cyril looks at his mom. Hold on. Cyril looks at his mom and goes, on some planets, when their mothers die, people are sad. Not on this planet. Yeah.
I think instead of like putting in
Are you at a Red Lobster? Sorry.
Instead of putting in like on a brick in the wall, he's just gonna kind of like take the ashes and just put them over the side of like a balcony on Coruscant and be like, later, mom. See ya.
Flush her down the toilet.
Yeah, wouldn't want to be ya. But anyways, yeah, I've always said about this show, I felt that the whole entire time, and I still feel it now that the show's done. The tone of the show is drastically different than everything in Star Wars, obviously. And I love it. It's probably one of my favorite things that they've ever done. But I also don't think this is the way, not to make the Mandalorian pun either. Like, I don't think it's the way that it should be done. I think it's like this is really good for me. But once again, my son, he was like, show me the Death Star part. That's what he said. Show me the Death Star part. We showed him the Death Star part. He's like,
he says that to all the girls.
Yeah, show me the Death Star part.
That's no moon.
Future Cyril. It's a Cyril move. There's Cyril.
But yeah, no. So anyways, but it's just like it doesn't. I don't know. Should Star Wars be a broad swath that's for everyone all the time, or like even though you didn't like it, Josh, even though it's like wasn't like your cup of tea necessarily, do you think it should exist? Do you think that this kind of thing, this kind of endeavor, should be around, or do you think it's ultimately a misstep and Star Wars should always be for as many people at once as possible? So I think that's like the big question that they have.
I do think that Star Wars was always meant to be universal as far as the content is concerned. But yeah, no, I there's a place for more adult stuff, just like there's a place for more childish stuff. But it just, again, it didn't resonate with me. I did enjoy the storytelling and the craftsmanship of it, but I didn't care about what was going on or anyone that was in it.
Right.
Yeah.
but it was
Yeah.
primarily just Andor as the protagonist that just didn't connect. So you didn't reach the rest of the stuff didn't connect with you. I mean, I find it interesting. I don't mean to like critically or anything like that. I mean, like it's like
Andor was in this show. Andor was barely in the show. I mean, it was it was more of the typical Disney, let's say it's about one character and then make it about everyone else because we need to stretch it all out because it was supposed to have been a movie and we decided to make it a show at the last minute.
Just like Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Barely.
George,
what
are you doing here?
I mean, it took us it took us 12 episodes to end up right back where we were at the end of the third one. So
like my second marriage.
George.
Preach, George.
That was exactly Heavy's.
Josh, I think the biggest problem is Andor doesn't have his heart on the outside of his body. If his heart was on the outside of his body and he wore a cape and collected lightsabers, this show would be a real winner. You know, that's the problem. His heart is on the inside of his body, and that's just divisive. It's divisive. Very divisive.
All right, George. George, go back to retirement.
Oh,
but
all right.
All right. How did this one open? What happened in the opening? I forgot. Well, what show is this again?
They showed the title.
They showed the title, and it was like, "Here's the song, and it's different now.
It's different again."
They added trumpets.
They did.
Hold on.
They did.
Hold on. It should have started like this, but just imagine Minions. Dun, 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 Disney Plus. They should Disney Plus. Disney Plus. We fired JPEG.
No, Rob.
Then you're like, greatest show ever. What?
No, Rob. No, not this time. Not this time. But
I gotta say, Jason, that weird opening they have with the flashy heads, the baubles, the pewters that look like the cops are driving by some West End game miniatures. I don't like it. Like, I've never liked it. I don't understand why they keep putting that in front. I don't know. Like, just give us the Lucasfilm logo. Like, like if you don't know what Star Wars, because you had to click in the Star Wars area that had the big Star Wars logo on the fucking thing in Disney Plus. If you don't know Star Wars by then, well, then, you're going to be awfully entertained when Star Wars just suddenly appears on your screen. It's so weird. It's it's the worst intro for these like Marvel-esque things I've seen yet. It's beyond generic. It's bad.
Well, I love how you get to skip the intro, but then you still watch the intro. You never noticed that?
No, because
it skips past that stuff, and then you still have to watch the actual Andor title card come up.
Yeah, because that one counts. The one that doesn't count is the lame intro. See, they used to say lame intro, but old paycheck. Had to complain.
I'm kind of okay with it on that one because it's different every time. On Andor specifically, everything is actually like every time you get that Andor logo, you have like new music, a new kind of like a new tonal theme sort of put into it or a repackaging of it. But it is really annoying if it says skip credits or intro and you just don't. Yeah, I'm with you there.
It's really annoying too in the movies when you can't just skip the opening crawl. Every time I go to the theater, this fucking thing just plays and you can't speed it up. You're stuck there every freaking Star Wars film. For like 18 minutes, this thing goes on and blah, 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 taxations, blah, 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 Annie, blah, 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 blah. It's just, you can't skip it. At least now you can sort of skip it. But
yeah. I'm
working on that tech. I got to go by.
All right, Rob, did you like the episode, Rob? Were you happy, Rob?
Show sucks. What are you talking about? It's got no lightsabers.
No, Rob, did you like
trumpets? It's just a funeral. Come on, man. I love the show. My problem with like when I hear like should they be making Star Wars for everyone? I'm like, when did that ever exist? I mean, I'm just old enough to remember my uncles hating Return of the Jedi. Like something fierce.
Yeah, but
that
your
wasn't
uncles
for
also
everyone.
lived their lives making money off of Monopoly contests at McDonald's.
No, one of them did. The other one had 18 jobs and was somehow proud of it. I got 5 jobs. I'm like, you're not supposed to have 5 jobs. One's supposed to pay for your bills. You idiot. This guy used to look. My uncle, like one of my uncles, the Eddie Deacons one.
Uncle Joey.
Yeah,
Uncle
he would go and collect old junked up cars, right, that didn't work, and they'd be around the neighborhood, but he'd have to rotate them every 3 days because they'd tow him. So he'd be rotating his 7 broken ass cars 3 blocks, and I was like, you put all this effort into this like weird sham of a life. If you just concentrate it's kind of like when you have too many podcasts, Jason, and you're like, what if you just do one good podcast versus like, I don't know, 1,000,002 so podcasts. It's like that.
I feel like you are calling out my friend, the Star Wars podcast, who has a podcast for everything.
No, he pays us.
He did again. He needs to stop that. I appreciate it, but Rob added to the thumbnail. Be well.
At this point, I feel like I owe him something. So, like I'm accruing some debt. No, but here's the thing, right? And so then like, let me give you an example, right? You remember this game Dark Forces came out, right? Back in 94, 95, right?
No,
it was like
never heard of it.
LucasArts version of Doom, right? I feel Kyle Katarn, and you were part of like a rebel spy, and you're going around getting all these missions, working for Mon Mothma and shit. Sounds familiar. And if there's fighting Dark Troopers and Death Troopers, and then everyone complained, no lightsabers. It's not Star Wars and no lightsabers. And so then they got their Jedi Knight 2 and 3 with all and they had to turn this guy into a Jedi, and I just checked out. I was like, this one won for me. Like, you got every fucking Star Wars game has all this stuff. You make the one that doesn't, that's the one that fans bitch isn't like all the rest. And so I figure so long as they're making 99% same old Star Wars, everyone should be happy because they're making Star Wars for everyone.
That is like the my question had a thesis to it, honestly. And it's that it is impossible. Because when Mandalorian came out, it kind of got some shit from people, from some there was that group that thought it was just bro-y Star Wars. Then Obi-Wan came out and they said it wasn't what they wanted for whatever reason, and then Boba Fett was a mess. That one I can see. That one was a mess for me. That one was a mess, and that one didn't make me happy. And so it's just like it's impossible. Like what is the right answer? I don't know. But
Unreal Engine 5 fan films, Jason. That's the answer. As long as we have Unreal Engine 5 fan films, anything's possible, Jason. Anything,
Or
so wait,
a General Grievous show might do the trick. I think that could please the masses.
General
bring everyone
Grievous.
together.
It's called General. It's like
Corporal
Seinfeld.
Grievous. Well, first is Private Grievous, and then it's Staff Sergeant Grievous, right? And then then it gets works up to First Saw Grievous,
Okay.
right? That's
Can it be called Don't
NCO
Call Me
days.
Grievous? So Don't Call Me Grievous, and it's like all these different Grievouses. They're like a family of Grievouses. Grievi.
Warwick Davis shows
Grievi?
up. It's Grievous into Hood, right?
Right?
Yeah, Planet
Oh
Hood.
man,
I'm still waiting on my Jar Jar show, so it's whatever. It's fine.
I really want them to bring Jar Jar. I think Jar
it's
Jar
coming.
Jar Jar needs his redemption.
Jar Jar
so
sex
confident.
talk, Misa horny. So, yeah.
yeah. Give us Bix. Uh-oh. Wait. How's it going?
Hi.
Oh, God.
What? Say something,
Something.
bitch.
Hi, everybody. This is my co-host.
What's up? I
So-
refuse to be on camera today. I'm not made up, so
Hey,
forgive me.
there's no camera rule here. Did you did you like it? Were you happy? Were
I
you
literally just finished watching it like 10 minutes ago.
Fresh
But
and
Josh
fresh.
and I are totally on two like different spectrums on this show. He hates it and I absolutely love it. So yes, I personally enjoyed the finale.
So she stepped in to keep me from voicing my opinion. So
Exactly.
it's cool.
That's
Oh
how
yeah, you're being real silenced today, Josh. No one knows where you stand on anything. You're just rambling right over.
No, not at all. I'm sorry. Like, okay, and justice for Perrin, man. Come on. How did
Do
he end up
not
becoming the
bring
patsy?
that dickhead
Yeah.
up,
Dude,
okay?
how is he a dickhead? He's
Oh
a
my God,
fine
listen,
husband.
you're a dickhead.
She's using him as a pawn. Okay, let's all give Mon Mothma the Mother of the Year award for whoring off her daughter and blaming all of her under the table dealings on her husband's past.
This is a
Okay, good
rebellion.
job.
Oh, I'm
You gotta
working on
do
that,
it.
Josh.
You do what you gotta
Pour
do.
of the year. I'm working on that. I'm making it right now. I got little stickers and some construction
Pimp her
paper.
out.
It's gonna be the best.
Perfect.
Mm.
And then that end credit scene. Okay, I'm sorry. Like we didn't know that the Death Star was there. Oh, but we had to know that Cassian was making pieces for the thing that would ultimately kill him because it's poetry. It rhymes, right? Okay, no, I didn't
I'll
need
give
that.
Josh that
It's,
one.
it's more like a dirty limerick, really.
And it's going to take him 5 years to
Not really.
finally get that dish into, like, really? Come on.
Listen,
Don't
man.
you know? Take your time, Josh. You know,
Quality.
gotta
Slide it in
slowly put it in
slow.
that Death Star.
Yeah, that's
Just
right.
don't-
I do
Don't
get
rush
that.
it
I do.
in. Can't
I
just
can
go-
appreciate that. I can appreciate
You
that.
can't just go jabbing discs into Death Stars. Can't do that. No.
Got to be gentle with the disc.
Mm.
I mean, I think Josh hits on a bigger lore kind of question that we have that's semi answered by Catalyst, but also sort of not.
Right.
And it's like Revenge of the Sith. At the end of that movie, we have the Death Star being built in a skeletal structure that does not actually line up with what we have in Rogue One or this show. So I have to think they put that shit together and it doesn't work, and they have to take out the engine a lot or something. I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense on that front.
You
But
forgot the spoiler.
you know, I use the example of I got my kid the Millennium Falcon Lego set from Episode 9, and we kept putting it together wrong because he kept moving parts as we're trying to get it done, and we had to take the thing apart a couple times to get it right. So I know where the Empire is coming from. I've lived it. But no, but
Yeah, it took me 3 days to build my Lego Death Star, so I'm just saying I don't know why it took them 20 years. So it's
3 days.
We're not going to shame you for that. We're not going to shame you for that at all.
No, that's fast, right?
Just let it out.
That's
I thought it
fast.
was pretty good.
That's that. I think that's
Speak your
fast.
truth.
Yeah.
You don't know me. You don't know
Yeah.
my life.
But
You know what? I can play the Fun Factory faster than you can Lego. So you know what I mean. This Andor show's all over the fucking place. So you want some spaghetti? I'll make some. I'll make some Fun Factory spaghetti. I can whip it up. He's very fast. Like it's ridiculous.
I appreciated that when we watched the first arc of the show. I was like, Rick's Road. It's weird that they named it. I was kind of even critical. I'm like, Rick's and Bricks, Bix and Brasso and Bricks. It's all the same thing. I was kind of joking about that. But we come back from the final episode called Rick's Road. It's important. And even every little tiny detail in the script of this narrative that they made, everything came back. I mean, the only person who was forgotten in the whole thing was Clea. I don't think we needed her, but it was
everything came back except for what Cassian's been trying to do this whole time, which is to find his sister. What happened about that? Did he forget she existed or what?
No, I think he accepted that his sister is dead.
This is like episode 9. We get to fill in the blanks on the plot holes. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, his mom tells him you should forget about it because it didn't end well. I mean, but that's the other question. It went that way, but the series isn't done. So are we going to get next season and she's his adversary? Would Gilroy even do something like that at this point with what has happened before? I don't know if he would.
Jason, it's not Josh's fault. He's been watching Andor the High Blood Pressure Republic this whole time.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
No.
So he's just getting all worked up.
I get a little bit uppity about it. I'll
show,
admit.
man.
I have to remind him to breathe sometimes because he'll just go tangent.
I'm enjoying Andor about as much as I enjoyed Resistance. So there we go. I'll
that little. I mean, I'm assuming. I'm making an assumption here, but how little you enjoyed Resistance.
The one character I was most interested in seeing things about, Mon Mothma, they're just tearing her down. I think at the end of the story,
oh man, she looked pretty fine.
Worst part of
well, no, but I'm sorry. I think at the end of the story, because they're all about this gray. It's all about, oh, well, it's not so black and white. It's not good versus evil. You know, there's everyone on both sides has to do terrible things in order to attain their goal. And I think at the end, we're going to hate Mon Mothma because she's done so many terrible things that it's hard to really sympathize with her. And
she canceled
why
Leia
did we need
in Return
to do
of the
that?
Jedi, right?
Oh,
Josh?
well,
You
yeah,
agree with
so
me?
we got to cancel her now.
Leia should have been leading the rebellion in Return of the Jedi, but Mon Mothma canceled her. She put her right on that bear planet. Said, "You just go run around with Han, so be his girlfriend."
See, Rob gets it. So there you go.
Yeah. I get it.
No, I know. I honestly felt bad for her. She doesn't want. She's not actually whoring her daughter out. She doesn't want her daughter to do it. Her
but
husband,
she's still doing it.
But it's actually Perrin is the one who's actually like cooler with the old ways than Mon Mothma. So if the one parent was pushing it, do you agree with that, Genty? Do you think that's?
I mean, that's how I took it, that she obviously is completely disgusted with such an, antiquated tradition. That's how I understood it, that Perrin was actually all for it, which just makes me hate that sleazeball even more.
That was the whole point.
Are they both doing this though to keep up whatever fronts maybe the both of them have? I mean, I really hope Josh is wrong about Perrin.
The last time Vel came to visit Mon Mothma, she tried to blame it all on Perrin, and Mon Mothma was like, no, he's actually surprisingly open about, these types of things. So like I don't get the impression that he's pushing this.
He was pushing marriage on to a lesbian in that scene though too. So I think he is a little bit more in the.
I think that is a reach. So that's all I'll say about that.
He was asking her why she wasn't married yet.
Well, maybe he doesn't know what her sexual preference is, or does it really even matter to begin with? Why is this even like a focal point for Star Wars?
No, it's Trandoshans. She's into lizard people.
No.
Also, Josh, I agree with you. In Star Wars: A New Hope, Obi-Wan refuses to tell Luke Skywalker to stop getting a boner over his sister throughout like a third of the film, and it's just the whole time he just let it happen. Right?
He doesn't bother. He doesn't bother you. It's cool.
Yeah.
No.
You should. We had to keep that camera above waist in that training scene. It was 2 sabers. It was ridiculous.
In Obi-Wan's journal, it said, "Let Pornhub work it out." That's what it said.
Yeah. General Pornhub was actually the guy who interrogated Leia. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Leah. My bad. All right, I gotta go complain on Reddit. Bye.
Bye.
Does Perrin care about anything though? That's what the whole point. The whole thing I got from the show, to be perfectly honest, he's just there, having a drink, having a little worm in his drink every now and then. So, it's just like either way about it, isn't he? He's just like, well, whatever, do what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean that is kind of the like Perrin's whole thing is just let's just hang out and chill and be cool, and then she's like, well, things aren't cool. Kind of hard for me to sit here when it's not that way.
To what Jason's saying, here's what's really happening with Perrin, and I'll be serious here for a second. He's living the life he's supposed to live. He's living the life of a dignitary. He's playing the rules. He's inviting the Nazis over for dinner. He's going to parties. He's doing all that stuff, and yet he's still going to be used as a pawn in a game because he's not involved with what's actually happening in the universe. He's playing this fallacy, this false narrative, this sham of a world that he's living in, that he's going to be used by the rebellion to their ends, right? He's going to be sacrificed in their game against the Empire, the way the Empire is allowing other people to be sacrificed when they're not being active. The whole point of this is not participating in what's actually happening, trying to like go, well, I don't have to worry about it because I live my life. I'm doing this. This doesn't affect me. It will affect you one way or the other.
Which is what Marva's saying,
just not
right?
Throwing,
in her funeral
yeah,
speech,
it's what Marva said. It's just not being thrown at you. That's not being like soliloquied to you at the moment it's happening to the character. It's being said in other places, and then you're left to infer it, which I don't know. Which way do you want? Do you want a movie that fucking literally says, "This is how democracy dies," like a little bitch crying in the corner? You know, do you want that? Or do you want like, you know,
I do a little bit.
So it's all a big middle finger to Switzerland because you can't be neutral? Is that what you're saying?
They're literally increased NATO presence, Josh. They literally increased NATO presence.
Wow.
Like in the last 3
months. They did make Alderaan. They did make Alderaan Switzerland, and they did blow it up. They kind of did make
I like the one guy defending Switzerland. You know what I mean? Like, I knew Scarif would do that. I just knew it. You know? You got
Every
palm
time.
trees. You know, it's the best.
No, I find your take fascinating, Josh. I do, and I don't mean that. Like I don't want you to. If something doesn't work for you, though, it doesn't work for you, and that's like the thing that I think Star Wars fans or people in fandom always have to remember is just like I could rationalize why everything makes sense and works and is brilliant for you. It just doesn't work for you. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
I didn't like Book of Boba Fett either. That didn't work either. I mean, frankly, I've had issues with all of the shows they've done so far.
Yeah.
No.
On some level or another.
No.
And I don't just have issue with everything. But yeah, I mean, they all have their moments, good and bad. But Andor, yeah, it's beautiful to look at it. It's produced on a higher level of quality than any of the other series have been, in my opinion. It's very well written. I don't mind the pacing. I don't care that there's this kind of slow build of storytelling. I appreciate that. I find it more mature, and it's nicer to kind of take the time to sort of soak things in. But again, I'm not invested in any of the characters. I'm not invested in what's happening. Of all the different moments in the time of Star Wars that they could choose to focus on and tell a story about, why this one, and what in the end are we really going to get out of this?
Like the Bible, huh, Josh?
Kinda, yeah.
I know.
Well, it does. I mean, I understand like that sentiment. I have friends who are just like, I'm not interested in like the rebellion versus the Empire era of Star Wars storytelling anymore, and it's kind of like, I get it. Understand, but at the same time, other things are coming.
While they hashtag Battlefront 3 every other day, you know what I mean?
Well,
that's the hypocrisy. Yeah, right. I don't want, but whoop. You know, okay, all right.
Old boy, where should I send your invite? How do I invite you, old boy? I will send you an invite. Star Wars Podcast says, listen to Rob Loney, folks. But
take your time, bro.
But while we're on it, the whole was that just the introduction of the kid? Like last night when we were talking about it, there was some people thought that was like the start of them getting married or something, and like I didn't think so though. Did you guys take that as just it was the introduction?
I think
it just kind of like
I think just meeting for the first time. Yeah,
Olive Garden,
breadsticks, Netflix and chill, but not marriage. Yeah,
they took him to fine, I'll just say they took him to Mormon Discovery Zone essentially. You know what I mean? Like, they're just like whatever that means. I don't know what that means, but I think it fits. You know,
fair enough. Yeah, I also think that Perrin might have that back tattoo of Netflix and no chill. Netflix, no marriage and chill.
It's his tramp stamp. Yeah.
Someone didn't tell him they wrote jizz and Arabash on his tramp.
He's like it says Perrin in ancient Kashyyykian. Like, no, dude, that says jizz, man.
That says jizz, yeah.
Yeah, dude. No, I'm pretty sure this is like ancient Chewbacca. So, but yeah. No, so what did we get? Oh yeah, to go back to the intro thing, to the music and to the marching band, that they were playing the fucking Andor theme. I thought it was done. I thought it was done pretty well. It didn't like when I heard about that. I thought that sounds kind of corny because I imagine like the actual theme that we hear at the opening. You know, when they're playing it,
Right.
they were kind of playing it like I don't know.
Like
It
If
really
they
reminded me of
played
this
it
film.
super well, would you
Yeah.
have bought that? That's just the people that get together every.
No,
Come on, man.
no, I don't want
like
it.
you-
No, that was perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that
Sounds
was
exactly
perfect.
like a high school band.
Yeah, totally sounded like a high school band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like
Drum
people like local
Not
people working in
good.
the local mine or whatever. They're not going to
Oh.
be out there jazzing it up, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Jazz hands.
Yeah. But the thing I was telling Rob, what I was actually critical of in the episode, when you watch it all together, it's fine. When you watch like the previous episode and this episode, but B2 has the important moment is when they toss him over like a table. You know, when they finally like beat up that little guy. I think he could have used a couple lines in this episode. When you watch the previous episode, the momentum goes forward right into it, and you've just had the saddest little B2 moments that you're ever going to see from a droid in Star Wars. Right? I was like,
It was emotional.
I was yeah, like you're. What was that?
I love the droids. So I always love the droids.
Yeah, because it's like I don't know, it's like a dog, a puppy crying for its owner who's died and is not coming home. Like it's the saddest thing ever, and they did such a good job with that in the previous episode. So in this one, I could have used not all of that again, not opening up that whole can of worms, but just a little continuation of the previous scenes as we were going maybe into the funeral. But it was that's the only place I was like super critical of it on a week-to-week basis. Watch.
But I mean, B2 got his R2 moment, you know, he got to project a big hologram and we got to see Marva's Force Ghost and all that good stuff.
He shamed Luke Skywalker. He was like,
real big hologram.
Yeah.
Mine's big.
Yeah. Look at the size of this hologram.
This
Yeah,
is
he whipped it
Snoke
out.
Yeah. Snoke heard about that. He heard about that uprising. Like, I need one like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we missed him in The Force Awakens. He was down at the base of Snoke's hologram.
No. At Lucasfilm, we call that the Ronstadt moment, Jason.
The Linda Ronstadt moment.
You get to project a very large object at a stunned audience. Yeah.
You're a little bitter, George. I think it's but yeah. So anyways, back to then what do we got? We have Brasso, and he's and Andor finally shows up. Andor sneaking around. Andor knows the whole town. He's raised there, so he's able to like get around. We have Cinta who's out there being stalked by that weird ISB guy who she shanked a good one. And I thought that was very gratifying because it kind of like
this moment was like Jason at Galaxy's Edge, and I'm like Dedra trying to figure out how to get one ride, and I didn't know how to pre-order shit and how to navigate these sewers of the bowels of trying to work a theme park. And then Jason's like, "You idiot! You just take all the sewers. You just run around. You don't know the fucking."
You just open the app, dummy. You just open the app before the park opens, and it's like
the sewer app.
It's pretty easy. But yeah, no,
Cinta stabbed that guy twice, though, right?
What's that?
Cinta. She stabbed that guy twice, though, right? She made sure.
Yeah, I think so. She got him like
he's
she
alive.
got him like up into the heart. Like she did it right.
Yeah,
she went like below breastbone to look like up into him. Yeah. I think.
It looked more like a stab to the groin to me, but I don't know.
You saw a dick stab?
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
She didn't even stab a dude right.
She was low on that, yeah. Vel asking about the blood on her hand. She was that's ball blood,
She's all
that's ridiculous.
She's all testy blood. Yeah. They I thought they were gonna break up in that episode. When Vel's like, look at me, and she's just like, bitch, I ain't got time for you. I'm like rebelling right now. You know what I mean? I was like, man, Vel is that fucking girlfriend though, isn't she? Like
so
we're in the middle
emotional.
of shit. Can we do this later?
High maintenance.
And I honestly thought it would have been the other way around. That was me calling it wrong, and I'm gonna admit that. Hey, Meg, how are you? Old Star Wars Meg is here.
Hey, Meg.
Hello.
But yeah. I'm pretty exhausted from the season though. It was hard on me. It was hard on me in a good way though. It kind of it put me through the ringer.
That's what she said.
It was hard on me that episode where Biggs was putting her pants
Hard
on,
me,
but
in a
yeah.
good way. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what she said.
Very hard on me.
hanging fruit, don't you?
That's what he calls me. I appreciate it. Yeah.
So stupid.
Do you see yourself watching the show again?
What,
Who?
me?
Any of you?
Nick disappeared. Right
Yeah, I
when
was like, I
you said
didn't.
Well, we got Nick's answer. Yeah.
I actually.
Yeah,
think
I'd leave this
is-
shit on a repeat.
Yeah, this is to me the most rewatchable.
Yeah.
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 Because
But I understand that it's going to be the Ahsokas and the Mandos and the whatever the fuck else they make, you know, the Kung Fu Republic, like what the High Kung Fu Republic. My bad.
High Kung Fu
Karate
Republic.
Republic. High
Yeah,
Karate
yeah.
Republic.
Karate.
And then
Hi, karate. Oh my god! Wow.
come on. I'm working it out here. We're whiteboarding.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like
Dinosaurs.
yeah.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't Book of Boba Fett have been better if they had flying dragons, Jason?
Oh
Don't
my
you think?
god! Anything would have made that
Right?
Yeah, it really would.
Right? See?
shit. Smurfs
I'm
would have
just
made that.
saying. Like, if you take it out of one thing and you put another and you love it, that says something about your bias. That's all I'm saying. Just saying. You get the fuck
like
out
the
of here.
dragon.
You wouldn't love Boba Fett on a flying dragon.
I would like Boba Fett on a flying dragon. I would. And,
Act like you wouldn't like it.
and it-
You know?
Yeah. And maybe if
He-
he
yeah.
had that high tower with him, Hightower was there.
Him and Mando can side saddle. You know what I'm saying?
Boba Fett rides side saddle.
Yeah.
And then
I don't
maybe
even know what
instead of
that means.
sand
It just
people,
sounds
they had
funny.
blue people. Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, the thing is they don't have big blue tentacles coming out their head. When they're big blue tentacles coming out their head, we like it. Or when
Yeah.
they're ghosts, we like it.
Kinda
But when they're
wrapping, yeah.
living creatures with tails, then we don't like it. It's the problem. It's the problem.
Well,
Tails.
we did see the back. I mean, not really, but we did see the backstory of Garandan in my head. Like that you just have that one guy with the gas mask on. Do you guys notice that?
Yeah.
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 The whole thing? Yeah, the spy from A New Hope. I don't think it's actually him, but in my head it is, and he gets beat up a lot. And that one guy was a spy. That the one dude with the big guy. That guy. I was kind of mad about that. I didn't see
The
him.
one that got a glass in his face at the end.
He got
Yes.
Oh man, he got it.
Hey,
good.
let's be honest. This is the most realistic use of a thermal detonator we've ever seen in Star Wars. Those fucking windows fucked everyone up. I don't want to hear shit. Even if you're like, not my thing, no one has used a thermal detonator like boom. That fucking dude got waxed. I mean, like, poosh, oh shit, dog. Like, that fucked everyone up,
You
dude.
got it good.
Like, now, when I watch Return of the Jedi, I'm like, don't let her do it, man. This will fuck we're all fucking dead, like,
Glass everywhere.
yeah.
God.
I like May calling
only-
it the Cassie Andy show. Cassie Andy.
My only request for the season 2, if we were getting 5 seasons, we could get this. I guess now it's going to be like in turbo mode because they're going to get it done. But if they had 5 seasons, I just wanted to see Cyril and Dedra and Coruscant go to a bowling alley. Like the Imperial
Aw.
bowling alley. Like it's super clean. Like it's all white. They all got
Date
like,
night.
black Death
Yeah.
Star looking balls. Oh.
Meg only has 1 minute. So hey Meg, share your thoughts on the Cassie Andy show if you want.
I thought Cassie Andy was a great show. Episode 12 was good.
Yeah.
I thought the Death Star was cool. I liked massive Marva in the sky. And I thought it was great.
But I was with you last night, and we didn't get to touch back on it last night. Vel, they should have had the kiss.
They should.
They should
Knock
have.
her
I thought
face
that.
off.
Yeah, that was a little bit. Like that read a little untrue to the beginning of the show. I thought.
Yeah.
But But
I
so
think unfortunately that's going to come in a dying moment, maybe, isn't it? Season 2.
yeah. Seeing, I mean, I think everyone's gonna die. I don't think anybody's gonna
I think
live
they are too. Yeah, I agree.
next year.
Even Mon Mothma.
Season 2. Somehow Marva lives. What? Season 2. Somehow Marva lived. That's how it's going to open up. Now she's actually running shit. Yeah. She didn't actually die.
That was a Force Ghost. That was a Force Ghost,
Yeah.
right?
Darth Revo.
No, it wasn't a Force Ghost because it couldn't sit on a log. And Force Ghosts can sit on logs, Jason. That's the rule.
That's fair.
Well, I mean, they blew up Bib Fortuna and Max Rebo at the end of Return of the Jedi, or the beginning of Return of the Jedi, yet somehow they both managed to make it back for Book of Boba, so...
Well, to be fair, Bib Fortuna survived in Legends for like 20 years until they decided to do something with him again.
True. He did.
He was one of the survivors.
Did they end up writing that off like they escaped together, like they left on another skiff together or some shit, right? That's how it worked out? Or did I just imagine that in my mind? My crazy brain.
They escaped on a skiff.
That one.
I missed.
It was that other guy, the other instrumentalist from Jabba's palace who survived. But they never really confirmed Max Rebo until Book of Broken Dreams came out.
Book of Sadness and Regret, yeah.
No, that's not true. The one on the ship in Jedi was Marsha Fortuna, Josh. I don't think you're aware. That's the one that got blown up. Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. Bib was back at the. Yeah, that was Marsha. Yeah.
Last night,
well,
I discovered a bunch. No joke. I discovered a bunch of like on scene George and Marsha Lucas pictures last night. I don't know what how I'm gonna.
You got my DMs.
Yeah, I did.
Oh boy.
They're at a buffet. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
They're at a buffet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, we were gonna name Bib Fortuna Benihana originally, but
So dumb. You're George. You're an idiot.
So stupid.
You're so stupid, George.
I couldn't keep that one out.
Meg, before you go, do you have anything else that you wanted to throw out here for our dumb show?
Not necessarily, unless you have something in mind.
Like a freestyle rap, maybe.
I can't rap.
Oh, come on, Meg. I know you can. All right, fine.
I can't rap.
Okay. All right.
That was the plea to stop, Jason.
It was the nicest way possible.
Yeah. I'm gonna just put that one out there for you.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get a text like "fuck you, Jason."
Meg, before you go though, Meg, what are you looking forward to the next Star Wars wise, other than obviously Avatar? What else are you looking forward to?
Yeah, Avatar, definitely the heart of Star Wars. No, definitely Bad Batch Season 2, Mando 3, Visions 2, Skeleton Crew, Ahsoka. I think I'm just naming things now, but
I'm just naming everything. I think.
But definitely Bad Batch in 41 days. I think.
Yeah, Bad Batch is not far off. I don't know. I'm hoping that arc on what's his name, Commander Cody. I hope that's what like ropes me in. I watched your video on that the other day, and I was like, I kind of do really want to see this.
Yeah, but he's only in one episode, so.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will leave you with my favorite dad joke. You've heard it a million times, and you're going to be forced to hear it again.
Okay.
Okay. So, why did Luke never have any successful relationships?
I don't know why.
Because old Ben told him to use divorce.
Nah.
Hey.
I like it.
That's my mic drop. Thank you, Jason.
Bye, Meg. We love you, Meg. We'll see you tomorrow.
I enjoyed that. That was good.
My favorite one is what did Yoda say when he saw himself in 4K? HDMI. Yeah, that's my favorite one.
I just saw that one recently.
It's so dumb. So dumb.
I laughed way too hard.
I was just gonna make a Commander Cooties joke, but I didn't know how to set it up, so I just put that one out there. Cooties. Yeah, my humor is slightly less sophisticated. Like
I dig it.
Yeah. You would.
And thank you, Star Wars Podcast, for the super chat again. I appreciate it, man, so much. Okay, old boy film. Old boy, I'm telling you, where do I send a link, man? You could come on, dude. I'm
I
telling
actually
you,
have
like,
to hop off. I just got a phone call, so I actually have to. But thanks for having me on.
Anytime.
And
Nice to
I'm
meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm so sorry that Josh is a hater.
No,
Wow.
we love Josh.
Oh no,
Josh can hate.
no,
Wow.
no. We're slowly finding out what he loves, which is not a
It's
lot.
not that
but
important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He loves parents.
There you go.
Okay? I love parents.
Behave, co-host. Behave. All right, bye guys. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Mom.
Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.
All right.
Josh and Nick are just competing for the biggest pompadour. So we're I think Nick is winning by,
Yeah,
by
Nick
a
got
hair.
going. Yeah.
by a hair. I said by a hair. Oh no, fuck it. It wasn't HDMI, but there we go. So
It's hard to come close to that.
There it is.
Yeah.
Do you think
This thing.
Jason, this show with Andor, the standard of it needs to, like, because for me, I think this is the standard for now in like production level. I understand like the budgetary wise, it was like through the roof and things like that. But do you think this needs to be the standard going forward from now on?
I crashed Josh's show the other night, and when we were there, like that kind of came up about that kind of thing, and I didn't get to. It was a big panel, so I kind of didn't, kind of went with the flow.
It was chaos. Go ahead,
It was
say
fun.
it.
It was fun. It was fun. I had a great time. But the thing is that like the shows that are made out here, like where I'm at, like outside of El Segundo, those shows are never going to be able to compete with the stuff that's being done at Pinewood. It's just not possible unless they go and they open up a studio, or they buy a studio, or they make a studio. As long as they're doing it at Manhattan Beach in the volume and then using that exterior, it's just never going to compare. And I don't know this for certain, but like we had a couple of shots in this last episode of the show where you see like sort of like the courtyard where the shit's about to go down. That building is high.
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, it's huge, man.
I don't think they could build that high out in El Segundo next to the bridge where the train goes by. Maybe even for fire code reasons. Probably for fire code reasons. I don't know this for certain. This is just my interjection here, but I don't. So as long as the setup that they have is the same as the one that was built for Mandalorian, I don't see it. You okay, Penny? Okay, give me a little while longer, okay? Okay, a little while longer. Wait, come say hi.
Hey.
But Jason,
yeah. So
if they were shooting underwater in 3D in Manhattan Beach, we'd be all right, though, right?
Good point.
See, people don't know that's where the studio is. It's in Manhattan Beach. See?
Yeah,
they don't know that. I know. You got to actually know some shit, but
that's
whatever.
true. No.
So,
no.
if
it's all done, if it's like a complete volume show, sure. But if they don't do it and they want to do the exterior shots, it's going to look like Book of Boba Fett and Mando. Mando tends to look better. Mando looks better than the other ones, and I think that's because of Jon Favreau being the expert at dealing with the limitations of the tech.
I just don't think you can. Look, you all know how I feel about the prequels, specifically 2 and 3. The Phantom Menace is the one I think holds up the best. I know you all don't agree with me, but it does.
No, I do.
I don't see any difference. I don't see any difference in the restrictions. I know, old boy. What's up? I don't see any difference.
Good,
it feels like his light and Nick's light are connected, though, doesn't it?
Right? It does.
It does. That's weird. Like they're in the same room.
They're like,
yeah, that's crazy.
What about now?
See, I can't match that. I can't match that. I did that on purpose, man. It was way brighter, but I saw he had the more aesthetic lights. I had to match his tone.
But what I was saying was, I don't see any difference. I don't see any difference in the way episodes 2 and 3 look compared to the limitations of the volume when they're all shooting on 100% blue screen environments. Like it has the same look to me, other than some like piss poor wire work you might get in the prequels, right? Where a guy just gets lifted up by a wire when he gets blown up,
it has the same limit. It's like we've traded 100% green screen backgrounds for the volume, but the effect, although, you know, it probably looks better in terms of lighting, you know what I mean? And it's more budget sound. The limitations of those films compared to when they're, say, actually in a palace in Theed Palace, right? When you're actually in a palace in Theed Palace, looks totally different than when you're in like a blue screen 3D environment from 2002 in a palace, you know? Yeah. And the same with the volume. You can see the volume. You can see that blue CGI effect. And then here, when you're actually on Andor, when they actually go to a dam, you know what I mean, and turn that dam into a military outpost, then that looks like they're at a military outpost. So I just don't know that this is a problem Star Wars has had ever since George has been trying to find ways to not just make them on a budget, but make them, you know, as wild as he could imagine them. And Star Wars, I don't know, like it probably doesn't always work when it's 100%, you know, imaginary. You know, does that make sense? I'm imaginary, but it's you know, if you're going to do a cartoon, just do a full CGI cartoon, like, and in the way that Jedi Fallen Order, like the CGI intros for that, I keep saying, like, if that looks so good, you're better off just doing a series with all them assets, you know, than whatever this is. This like because it comes off cartoonish.
George Lucas hates wire work.
Yeah. Well, no, they know they get blowed up pretty bad. I know. Some of those.
The most wire worky thing is the Count Dooku fight with Obi-Wan, I would say. But other than that, James got you. James got you good.
No, there's wire work in the prequels. It's not. I said except when there is.
James got some. James got you.
Well, it's
I'm
my fault.
I'm still mad Vader didn't do a backflip in Kenobi, man.
Right? No, they
right. But the things the fans, quote unquote, want to see are like they want to see that Knights of the Old Republic with 100 Jedi fighting 100 Jedi every fucking episode. That ain't TV show can't do that, man. Even if you spent $200 million, you'd have to, because of the amount they have to do, you have to spend $2 billion. You see what I mean? Like in a 2-hour movie, it's one thing. But when you have like every episode, it doesn't have a million fucking Jedi all sitting around doing Jedi shit and all the lightsabers popping out, they're never going to be happy. So like, that's where video games actually get their little dopamine hit more than the series. But then you run into a problem where the visual effects in a video game are outpacing the visual effects in live action, simply because once it's all in a video game, you give it a giant bigger pass, you know, than you can in live action. And it's harder to meld live action elements with CGI effects, no matter which way you cut it. There's nothing easy about that. So the volume's supposed to at least give you lighting, right? Because when you have, like in the prequels, when you have them being lit, they have to like fake the lighting with the orbs. They have to take those create masks and then, you know, reintegrate that lighting in post, and it just never looked right. So here they're actually getting the lighting, even in the Batman, when they're being lit by a volume and they replace the background with a digital matte, they still get the bounce lighting from the volume on them, which you can't fake. You can't fake that. It ends up looking like those 90s acid washed videos, you know, where they're like, here's a filter, blah, 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 blah. You can't filter your way through it. So this benefits, this whole series benefits from being more of a low-key story. So if you're going to do a Jedi thing like this, or in this manner with these type of effects, you have to do 1 Jedi, 2 Jedi, maybe how the Acolyte's doing it. You can't do the Knights of the Old Republic running around, or the way you imagine the Clone Wars. We do have a volume. When we talk about the problems with the volume, we have fan expectations and volume of effects. We want every fucking thing. You know, in wrestling, they call it hot shotting, you know, where you throw every little trick out there to get the crowd round up, but it quickly fades out because fans get too desensitized to it. So that's my rant, dude. Like, I don't know how the visual effects, one way or the other, appease what they're hungering for, which is, I just want to see a bunch of Jedi fight. Like, and I'm not being like mean on them, but that's really what they want to see over and over again. Like this, that's it. And I don't know, man. That's where the games are going to do a better job, in my opinion.
Well, you're wrong. Whatever. They're wrong, because I want to see like a bunch of clones of Bix fight. That's what I want to see. The Clone Wars of Bix
mud wrestle.
On that one planet from The Mandalorian. Old boy films
What's up, man?
What you think, man? Of the
show?
finale? The finale of the show, whichever you want, however you want to take it.
Yeah, man, the finale is good. I've only watched it once last night. I'm the 2 a.m. crowd, so I'm waiting.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, this was my intro show to Star Wars for him. Like, he's watched casually some movies and whatnot. So I'm waiting on the second rewatch. I'll rewatch with him, and it'll be his first time. He'll be watching 11 and 12 with me. I thought it was good, man. I thought there was a lot of loose ends that they needed to tie in, and I think they did that for the most part. There's a lot of stuff that it's kind of like Game of Thrones-esque, where they leave a lot of it to the next season to answer the questions. So I loved it, man. I really did. I don't really know what to say, man. I'm just here to watch y'all talk, honestly.
No. It's that's how I felt about it too. Was that everything kind of came together in the last episode, everything that you would expect, and I'm getting attacked.
So my whole thing with this show in general, I love this show. I think I said it last night on the stream. I joined in and I commented it. I think in terms of detail, it's I don't think I'm over exaggerating compared to Kenobi. It might be a million times more, and I don't think that's over exaggeration. But I don't think that's necessarily I think they should trim off a little bit of that detail, 15 to 20% of that detail, because it can be a little clustered, just the information that gets fed through. You do have to read through the lines a lot, which is nice. I like being challenged as a Star Wars fan, as a watcher of things as well. So yeah, I'd like to see. It's gonna be interesting to see how season 2, the pacing of it. It's gonna be a lot faster. So I'm interested to see how, if it's going like this, how much tighter the story is gonna get.
So your friend, this is one of the first things they've ever watched from Star Wars. Is this show?
No, well, so they've watched. I think he watched he liked Mandalorian whenever it first came out, the first season, but I think he kind of fell off. Didn't even get to season 2, and that was his rebirth. Otherwise, than a childhood, watching it on the screen, not really remembering too much of it. And he likes it because it's very realistic. It's very militarized. It's a lot of World War I, World War II tones, especially appearance wise, especially the Aldani episodes. And he just likes the fact that there's I tried to get him to watch all the Star Wars movies. He thinks that Jedis are kind of overpowered, OP. He likes, which I mean they are, but he wants it to be it's like playing Halo.
Prequel Jedis.
You get that. Yeah, it's whenever
old boy.
Halo and you see
prequel Jedis are OP.
Yes, yes, and episode 2, I didn't even try to watch that movie with him because I knew that was just going to be. That was he was going to do that.
Hey, old boy, could you imagine in Star Wars: The New Hope if Vader and Obi-Wan started doing a really fast run and then throwing why they're lightsaber fighting, they're just running around all the hallways in the Death Star really fast, having a fight while they're running really fast, right?
Well, I
just
think,
to show how bad,
I mean,
even though they're old, they're still badass. They can just go really.
There's a YouTube version of that.
Oh, really? What?
No,
you can do anything in Unreal Engine 5 now.
Those fans films are gonna take over the world. But yeah, no, his analogy was it's if you guys ever played Halo, it's like getting the energy sword on Halo. It's it shouldn't really happen very often, and whenever it's due, it's so
right.
That was his analogy, and I thought it connected pretty well.
Because I think I'm kind of the weirdo on the whole thing, where if the show looked like Kenobi, which I don't think is barely acceptable, but it was as well performed as this one and paced as well, I could probably deal with the really bad effects, with the really bad backgrounds, and I could probably get lost in it, like how somebody who likes, I don't know, maybe old Doctor Who enjoys it as fresh sci-fi to them. You know what I mean? It's the story's captivating enough, you get into it and it works. But
Nick
I don't
flinched when you complained about Doctor Who, Jason.
Sorry, Nick. I know. I wasn't complaining.
Did you see it? Go back. 30-second rewind.
I wasn't complaining. I was praising it. I was saying the like people like are like into it, like it works for them. And no, and what I'm saying is it's they kind of did it really. I feel like if they did anything sort of weird, it was that. I know there's reasons for it, but it's like the one thing that needed it more, like that needed that production value was like Kenobi, and it doesn't have.
You know what,
it.
Kenobi? And not just that, Jason. If you go look at the opening to Rogue One, Galen Erso on that planet, look how filthy Galen is. That's Star Wars filthy for me. That's the proper amount of Star Wars, a guy living out in a hut. You know, you look at fucking Obi-Wan, looks like Hallmark Christmas special filthy. You know what I mean? Like you know, you remember in the Lord of the Rings films, people were dirty, but in that Hobbit movie, they're all in the mines and everyone's glowing like it's a fucking Christmas commercial from 1982. You know, and they're all like super clean and they're just fuzzy.
Well, it's because
this is not dirty, man.
In Kenobi, they have like a little bit of like they mist them with the sweat, maybe a little bit of like baby oil or something, but he doesn't look hot. Like you look hot. When you're hot, you look hot. Like not like sexy hot, like hot. And
Jason,
and you could
Jason.
not there. Oh hey, Maloney.
No, I just want you to all know, dirty details can't be done dirt cheap. No, it costs money. It costs them moolahs, and we took a little hit on that Dogecoin, so we had to just make some sacrifices.
Oh right.
Sorry about it.
Yeah.
Next time I'll spit on him, and he'll look all wet and shit. Okay, I gotta go. Bye.
So what was the official reasoning? Because it was like Kenobi was first supposed to be filmed and on location, and it was supposed to be vice versa. What was it just like the getting Ewan McGregor on, like that budget going
it was
a lot there?
Ewan McGregor, from what I understand, freshly married, family on the way. All that stuff's going down, and they're LA based. They wanted to stay in LA. It was a way of getting it done. They could do it here. And then when the production closed down, when they didn't make the window, they also lost their spot at Pinewood. And then pandemic happens, and there was a time during the pandemic where you didn't know if you were going to be stuck in Europe for a year or longer. Nobody knew. That's why Gilroy at one time, that was the official reason they said at first, was Gilroy wasn't going to be directing on Andor anymore because he couldn't leave his family. He wasn't going to leave the country. And so it was just a weird time. Nobody knew what was up. So I think that's why. And then they're like, we can do it here. We can do it this way. And things, they changed shit around. And with Kenobi, I don't think they knew what they were going to get until they did it. I think it was an experiment.
Yeah. Did Deborah Chow direct every episode on Kenobi?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that like the only show that they've done that?
I think so. Yeah.
Yep.
Such an interesting choice.
Yeah. Because like Kenobi really is just a small film cut into 6 chapters.
Cut into
even more so then. Even more so then. It's like why
it should have been that, in my opinion, or maybe like a 2-part miniseries or something like that. I feel like they stretched out the story and added so many elements that weren't necessary to where we kind of lost what was going to be good about it.
Yeah, six episodes is an awkward number for me, especially with a 2-episode premiere.
Yeah, like Rob said, I agree with Rob. What Rob usually says, it wasn't really enough to get deep into it, and then but it also made it an awkward length film at the same time or something like that.
It feels like an oddly, and not just so any of these, and I'm pretty keen on the Marvel stuff, but this 6-episode format, although there are brilliant BBC writers and cats who can put that together in the UK, so far the net result at Disney has been these things that aren't quite movies, right? And they're not long enough to give you the feeling of a series where you went on a complete total adventure. And they feel like oddly paced movies before they get like edited down, but also don't have the production value of a film. So you're better off in this format based off what they've done, not just like what I think they should do. Going the Werewolf by Night thing where you get a standalone, complete 1-hour thing, right? That is on its own. Like Kenobi could have just been one bit, and if they like it, hey, we'll go do another one. Like Well, what do you mean we wouldn't like it? Look, some people didn't like it. That's how it works. You never know. But this way, how do I say it? I think it's unfair to put any director in a position to be in charge of like an 8-hour series, or 6-hour series. 6-hour series think about the way Tony Gilroy talks about how hard this was. Even if Andor was 6 episodes, I still don't think he would have directed shit. It's just, you have so many decisions to make. You have performances you have to gather. Everything's being shot out of order. You got to like be in the editing room. You got to be talking to like, probably have a Skype call with like 2 to 4 different editors, right? Not including second unit, whatever second unit looks like on a TV show. Maybe they're out in the desert, or they're out on another lot in Manhattan Beach shooting stuff. It's a giant coordinated nightmare when you think about it. And the net result is going to be, it looks kind of like a cheaply made movie. That I don't think forget what the numbers do. There's something about a quality situation. So if you go back to when Pixar Disney wanted Toy Story 2 to be direct to DVD, right? Mm-hmm. And it was going to be this direct to DVD little story. And then internally the kayfabe is that they're like, no, this was a big enough story to be a movie. Yeah, that's the kayfabe. The reality is it was going to not be enough in terms of quality to match up to what they were doing cinematically. And it also wasn't going to feel like a complete thing. It was going to be this one little, and it ends up doing damage to your brand at that point. You're better off putting in the extra $50 million, to get that thing out the door at a polished level and starting over from scratch with the same idea, than taking we got it done. You're happy. You got your content. Now fucking swallow it. It didn't do anybody any favors. I mean, Ewan just came off the back of that Fargo 3 Emmy, awards. I mean, Fargo 3's his performance is great. And it's like, if he wasn't on his game on this, if he was like, let's say he was like, in like came off the island and he wasn't acting very, he's like, I don't really need to act. I was in the island. I can just show up. This would have been a colossal failure. Like, the show's held up by his performance. Like,
yeah.
But there's only so much you can do. Like introspective Obi-Wan, like chewing on his nails, it only goes so far after the 4-hour mark. And then you end up with that sequence at the refinery where he's just running around piles of dirt. You're like, guys, you can't. I know, you can't just run around piles of dirt. Like, you get, like he goes, no. Duck out! I'm behind another pile of dirt, and I'm not being mean, right? Like,
no,
you're creatively working on something, you look in the camera, you're like, are we really just having Obi-Wan Kenobi run around piles of dirt around a guy of Darth Vader who's at his peak? Are we really doing this right now? Like, well, we got to do it. That's the show. It's the limitations. Well, you know what I mean? It doesn't do anyone any favors, but that's the problem with these 6 episodes series. The Marvel stuff ends up feeling incomplete. It's not enough. It feels, and it doesn't do that. If they did half the shows, instead of 4 Marvel shows a year, you got 2, but they were 12 to 13 episodes. You do end up in that Daredevil. I'm going to wrap up on this before my rant's over, but when Daredevil came out on Netflix, let's go back to the first season. Everyone loves it now, and I loved it when it came out, but there was a strong complaint that they felt there was 1 or 2 many filler episodes, quote unquote filler episodes. And as a person who reads a lot, and writes a little bit, those filler episodes are usually where the character development happens. They're called scene and sequel writing. So in sequel chapters in books, it deals with the ramifications of a scene. People feel like, oh, that's filler. No, it's people dealing with the consequences of the choices made in the big action piece. And what they do in these sequel chapters is set up the next big scene. So you need some of that. These series are more like books. You need 1 or 2, if not 3, filler quote unquote episodes to deal with the ramifications of the big. Imagine if we went from Aldani to the Ferrix riot in 1 episode.
Yeah.
It wouldn't, you'd be like, well, it's not really a big riot. Doesn't really matter. I don't see what the big deal is. Why should I care about but it cares only because you're invested in the characters.
You could do Aldani. You could do the prison riot, and you could do the Ferrix riot all back to back to back, and then it would sort of ring a bit hollow.
Well, if that was supposed to be character development for Andor, I mean, again, like I go back to the end of episode 3, he was with Luthen on the ship, off to join the rebellion. Just like we're at the end of episode 12 and he's in the same
off
damn
to get
place.
paid. He was a mercenary, Josh. He was not joining a rebellion. He was
But the
getting
fact
paid.
of the matter is we
being set
didn't
up.
need all of this development. Okay, we've already shown through a flashback in this most recent episode that he was, and through Marva's big speech and everything, that he was raised by rebels. So make that be the catalyst. Wrap it up in the first 3 episodes and move on with the story. I feel like most of this first season could have been done as the opening to just a 1-season story, and then the second season wasn't even necessary. I feel like it was stretched out to a second season just so at the beginning they could say, oh, well, we've already renewed it for a second season and episode 1 hasn't even aired yet.
But then
so everybody can be
Josh,
like, oh, it's so good.
Great, but you're going to get your version of that in like 4 other different productions. That's the way Mando's done. So you're already getting that kind of storytelling. The difference here is that you're able to bring up a lot of nuanced thematic elements, especially dealing with living under not just tyranny, but living under like a Cold War creeping nightmare scenario, and where people are constantly saying, yeah, I'm going to do that, and then they go, I'm not really going to do that. That's the human part of the story. Normally in a George Lucas style story, they go, I'm going to do that, and then nothing's changing my mind. Like you
so this
burn
is just,
my family up.
It's the Last Jedi. It's a bunch of us being on a long chase just to end up back where we began, but it's character development. I don't buy that. I appreciate the pacing, and I do appreciate nuanced storytelling, but there's a point where you're so nuanced that you lose any sort of cohesion to what you're trying to say.
You think this no one got the cohesion in the story? As for The Last Jedi, like that dealt with like subversion. This isn't subverting your expectations. This isn't saying, oh, here's a character here's how they're doing something totally different, and we're going to kill the bad guy off in one thing just to like throw you off the Star Wars tempo, the typical Star Wars beats. They don't have to, because they don't have a 2-hour film. It's way harder to crunch your story into 2 hours than it is 13 episodes. It's way harder to do that. This is why like Netflix is able to make series after series after series, but when they make a movie, it fucking usually sucks. And very few Netflix movies are ever entertaining, because it's way harder to condense that and make it feel like it paces properly. And that's where the editing comes, where they go, oh, movies are made in the editing room, because sometimes you can things that don't come across in the script, didn't come in the performance, come together through clever editing. So like it's just not a simplistic conversation in saying, well, a story is about a character changing. Like, no, that's a story is about a character making decisions and suffering the consequences of those actions, good or bad. They can make good or bad decisions. They got to suffer the consequences of those decisions, good or bad. That's a story. So you could tell an entertaining story about you going to Blockbuster.
Because you're fucking up.
Yeah.
Because right now, Tyron is agreeing with you. You and Tyron are becoming friends. And
that's the only reason why I came here tonight. I'm just came here to listen to Rob, to be fair. So
let's be honest. Tyrant's logo is almost the Avatar A at this point, right? Isn't it?
Almost.
It's very close.
Almost.
Yeah, it's got a little tail, little ears up there. Put little ears, little tail.
It's a little kitty cat.
It's close. I like it.
But
but don't worry, Josh. You're gonna get you didn't like anything, so you're never getting any good Star Wars. I think at this point you may want to start playing Marvel Snap, Josh. You know what I mean? Because you snap a lot.
I just want Josh to be happy. I just want something to come out and make Josh happy.
No, Josh, now it's your turn in the barrel. Welcome to Robbed in 2002. You know what I mean? Like, you get to live another 17 years of hating Star Wars. Only you got a podcast now, so good luck.
Well, Josh, okay. Were you a prequel guy, Josh, or not a prequel guy?
I can appreciate things about them, but no, I mean, I grew up watching the original trilogy. One of the first movies I ever saw in cinemas was Return of the Jedi when it was released in '83. So, they're at the core of my heart as far as any kind of storytelling. I love Star Wars. It's always been a big part of my life, and I love the characters. And this just, I'm not invested in these characters. It really has nothing to do with the storytelling for me or the craftsmanship. Again, I said it's a finely produced series. I have no issues with the pacing or any of that kind of stuff. I mean, hell, I love movies. I love television. I've worked in film exhibition for 25 years. I know what an audience appreciates and why they do. Whether it's ignorant or not, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, I want people watching Star Wars. And if we're making content that people aren't wanting to watch, then the thing that I love the most is going to dwindle and die. So I want them to make stuff that's going to keep an audience.
I don't even watch Star Wars though, Josh. So I don't really.
You never did, George.
Well, no, no, not really. I watched Murderland, Radio Time. That was my favorite.
Radioland Murder.
Yeah, look.
Grow on, George.
What do you? Here's the thing, man. I don't like it when I tell people I love a movie and everyone's like, your fucking Avatar sucks. I don't go, I want everyone to see Avatar. Like it's weird because like, yeah, do you want people to love the things you love? I guess, it's cool to have someone to speak to, but
no,
I feel
it's not even about me being able to connect with those people. It's about me just understanding that the way the business works is if it doesn't make money, it doesn't get made. So I want it to continue to make money in order for it to continue to get made on the level that I want it to be made.
It could not make money and they're still going to make, because we live in a world now where the IP survives a financial failure. Batman and Robin did not make money. It did not help, but Batman survives. They're going to make another Star Wars. We're just
but I don't want them to reboot it, 30 years down the road. I don't want it remade. I want the story to.
Are we all going to be alive in 30 years, other than Nick and Old Boy? Are the top three of us really going to make it that long, Josh?
I don't think I'm going to.
We get angry every day. I don't know. I got acid reflux. Josh is coughing every day. You're already wearing Hawaiian shirts. I don't know where we're making it.
Someone's just going to kill me. Let's just be honest here. I don't have the other way.
The future is these two guys.
I'm not that young. Trust me.
Hey, old boy, I'm leaving all the passwords under the rock behind my house. If something happens, you can have it.
Yeah, I'm the 25-year-old in the chat all the time that half Rob's references go over my head. So,
what are you looking forward to the most, Josh? We could complain all day what something isn't, because really Lord knows I do that. I just want to know, what are you looking forward to? I'm curious.
Rob, I
as far as from Star Wars or Andor. Go ahead, Jason.
Rob, I have to go because. So my kids have an appointment that they cannot make now. I have to take them. Can you end the show, Rob?
I can end the show, but without the song. But yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'll do my own song. I'll do my own song. You guys will see.
You do it, and then you end the show. And then I'm sorry to cut out. I hate to do it, but it's the way life goes sometimes. And thank you, Josh.
Appreciate
Josh,
you, Jason.
I hope we did not gang up on you, because I respect your
I'm used to it, man.
opinion, and you do not have to agree with anybody. Don't listen to any of this blue guy especially. All right. I'll see you guys in a bit.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
So anyway, what am I looking forward to again, from Andor or Star Wars in general?
No, from Star Wars. Yeah, just curious.
I mean, I am curious to what they're going to do with Ahsoka, but honestly, right now, I feel like we're just kind of piddling around in a pool of let's make up for the sequel trilogy. And I want Star Wars to move past that. I want us to get out of I'm looking forward to the point where we get to the end game, when Grogu is what it's all about, when we have a 300-year time jump and we've only got one or maybe two familiar characters, and we can finally get something truly new and fresh. That's what I'm looking forward to from Star Wars. So I'm looking forward to everything that's on the slate currently to end, so that we can actually get past it. But again, I feel
that's
like
we're 10 years you got to wait now, right?
Well, I know, but it's 10 years to.
You realize the X-Men are gonna be. The X-Men are gonna return to the MCU before you get to see something that you're interested. I mean, that's why I'm saying you may want to take a break, bud. Because I'm the first one to tell people it's okay to step away from the thing that you're a fan of for a period of time, even 5 years, 6 years. It's cool. It's not going away. That doesn't mean, you don't like it, don't watch it. Watch it if you don't like it. Critiquing things is actually the way to improve creatively. It's easier to see when you don't agree with something, how you can how you think it could be better. But at the same time, if you're not into this iteration of anything, I'm not into any of the books except Star Wars Ronin. That's the book that I liked. I liked Star Wars Visions, right? I'm not reading all the books just to remind myself why I don't fucking like the books. It's just, you know what I mean? There's an attention. You're fighting for attention
with this stuff that it can't give you any sort of peace. So I don't know, man. Like, I say the same thing about the MCU. If you guys aren't into it now, don't worry, man. They'll eventually make some shit you like, or they won't. You'll find something else. Man, I was telling Jason, my disgust. That's my frustration with the prequel shaked out led me to start watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood right when it launched. You know, like I just started watching long form anime series. You know, when they moved out of the OAVs and got into full series and stuff, and that took me down a path of watching and experiencing stories I never would have interfaced with. You know what I mean? If it weren't for that. So
I didn't like Brotherhood either. I liked regular Full Metal, but anyway, that's fine.
Yeah, I like it. You see, this is you're crazy, bro. Like, you gotta have the you're nuts, Josh. But the thing that I want to just like try to get a little. God damn, you threw me off with that one, man.
Well, you've got to understand that I'm not watching Star Wars to complain about it. Okay, I don't sit around and complain about it all day. I don't post on Twitter or any of that kind of shit. But if somebody asks me what my opinion is, I tell them what my opinion is. I'm still going to watch the content because I appreciate the universe that it takes place in, and I'm interested in it. And if it doesn't please me, then it doesn't please me, and I move on with my day. It's a stupid TV show. But if someone's going to ask my opinion, I'm going to give it. So, you know,
right? It's just a lot of time investment. I think when it comes to Star Wars. Here's the thing, though. Like, when it comes to anything, if it's being poorly, when we say poorly made, we're not talking matters of taste. Like, you could easily look at Attack of the Clones and go, that digital video was not ready for prime time. It wasn't ready then. I don't care what he says. It's held up the worst. Like, it looks so bad, you know. That's you know, that when you see Kenobi, parts of Kenobi where you feel like you're in the same, like all the Vader shots when Vader's in his temple, that is just not a highly crafted piece of imagery. Just Vader's sitting there, like, why would you put the camera right up on his waist so his crotch level? Like, it's just the strangest shot I've ever seen. Like, you wouldn't shoot Santa like that. Yeah. Yeah, like whose eye view are we looking at right there? Are we looking at human eye? Or are we looking at like the droid? Did the droid come in? Like, we're looking at droid level here. So like, that's the sort of thing, like, poorly made. But when it's not, when you're like, I don't like this character, I don't like that character. Okay, but like, that doesn't mean if you were like consulting with Lucasfilm, right? Did they just throw it all up and say, okay, we'll do something brand new? All right, we'll do something brand new. But we've seen with Star Wars, what does brand new mean? And I bring this up seriously because when you see like Lucas made The Phantom Menace, visually they went with the Space Nouveau thing. They took it visually as far away from the original trilogy as possible. Everyone complained, man. Everyone, it doesn't really look like Star Wars. This looks like a generic science fiction thing. I don't know, how could the technology change so much in like 20 years, 30 years, right? And then he go, well, because of the war and industrialization. No. But then you got the feeling that the technology they're using in the original trilogy, other than the Empire, how they had new shit, everyone was using shit that was like hundreds of years old. It wasn't like 20-year-old shit. It was 200-year-old, 2,000-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, those lightsabers were probably made by several Jedi before. You know, we didn't know everyone was making their own lightsabers. So, like, in fantasy, Lord of the Rings or anything like that, Star Wars is fantasy. It's got castles and shit. Like, if you go back 100 years, it shouldn't visually change much. If you go back 1,000 years, it shouldn't change. But you have to go back 1,000,000 years to be like something visually different. Because it's just the time moves slower. You don't see the hobbits building cars 20 years after fucking Return of the King, you know? Like, we don't have to walk now. We just segue across the Shire. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if they set it 300 years, it's irrelevant. It's going to still look like Star Wars, because if it doesn't, people are going to be like, doesn't look like Star Wars. It's just a weird...
I'm not talking about the visual elements. I'm talking about the storytelling. I'm tired of feeling like the story is using legacy characters as a crutch, or like all of the story that's been told before is just sort of weighing it down. I want to move past that. I want to stop talking about Skywalkers and Palpatines and all of that kind of stuff, and just come into something truly fresh.
Isn't that this show though?
Yeah, that's what
Is
I
it?
thought.
Is it
Totally
really? Because it's really
different.
not. It's taking one small little corner of a galaxy of storytelling that we're already very familiar with, and just focusing on it extremely heavily. It's not. I don't see there's anything new
Which
being brought to
hasn't
the
been done
table
before.
other than the way that the storytelling is being done, and I can appreciate that. Again, I've said multiple times, I appreciate the production of it. It's not about the visuals or any of that kind of stuff. It's about, am I interested in it or not? And I'm just not interested in these characters. Again, the one that I was most interested in was Mon Mothma, and I feel like they're doing nothing but tearing her character down from any pedestal that someone may have put her on.
So like with the characters, do you think they lack character development, or just like these characters you would just never care about them? Like,
I just don't care.
Yeah.
I was never interested in Cassian. If we needed to pick a character from Rogue One to do a whole series about, I'd rather watch a story on really any other character from Rogue One than Cassian. To me, he's always been kind of diet Han Solo, and I frankly hate Han Solo. So I've just never been a fan of that character, and I feel like
I'm gonna try to save you
it's
from
like
digging
Poe
into a grave
Dameron.
Everyone loves Han Solo except George Lucas. So like,
I don't. I never did. He stole Luke's thunder, and Luke is the hero of the story. So that's my opinion on it. Because everybody was like, Han's cool, Luke's a whiny bitch, but it's still Luke Skywalker. He's still the hero. He's still the one whose heart and love and faith in his father is what saved the galaxy, sort of, until the next 3 movies. But anyway,
well, I think look, we could talk about that for years. I think the thing you want to know, what did Andor do differently than all of Star Wars, is up until Andor, cinematically, forget the books and stuff like that, but cinematically, before Andor, when you got a new planet in Star Wars, it was like, what is this? This is the casino planet, or this. No,
I do appreciate that. I very much love that they
finally, not just one location like Ferrix, but you actually are defining a planet now by its culture in Star Wars.
Yeah, there's
which
like a small bio. Yeah, I like that.
You got a sense of it in the Phantom Menace with Naboo, right? And when I say a sense, it's like, there it is in the script. But like, highlighted, it doesn't really count. But that is the thing. And so we can start to move. There are tropes in Star Wars, and I don't mean storytelling tropes, but just even visual tropes. And one of the tropes is, what's the new planet? And if the new planet isn't like wowed and mystical and totally different than anything else before, then people are let down. Like, fans are let down. So now one of the things they can check off the list is, we can get used to like, oh, when they go to a planet, what does it mean to be there? What is actually happen? Where is this? Yeah. What is this? The environment needs to play a role in the way that Gotham City is a character in the Batman stories. That a planet in Star Wars, any specific planet to that particular story being told at the time, can actually be a character in the story, not just a visual backdrop in which a bunch of rainbow-looking Twi'leks run around, like minions, cheering, and like in the Bad Batch cartoons or something. So that, and it goes beyond world building, because you actually see people like experiencing love and loss on this planet, living their life. It would be stuff. It would be very surface level and inconsequential if the people on Ferrix, or even the security force on that other planet, the Cyril security force, if we didn't see them actually struggling and suffering, even when you hate them, right? Like, yeah, I hate Dedra, but you're like, I don't want to see her, lynched by a mob like Gaddafi. You know what I mean? Like, what are we watching? Jesus Christ, this is getting really mean, But like, so in order to set up any kind of future cinematic Star Wars in which they're able to move forward, the fans, their expectations have to change beyond getting the same thing. And there is a weird problem with fans where they want to get the same high they got the last time. And you can see it in the MCU. People saw Infinity War and Endgame, and they forget phase 2 of Marvel, where there was like 5 films they didn't like. You know what I mean? And there was 2 they did. And now they're like, everything has to be, where's all the characters? Where's the big battle? Where's the big bad? Like, it took them 10 years to get up to that, And if you just keep throwing that out every film, you're going to be like, oh, they're just throwing another big band, another 100 characters at us. You have to slowly rebuild expectations to then set up the next thing you do. And that's not to mask, it's not to mask that through like how do I say this? Like, I'm not saying that that's an excuse for putting out a lot of content and trying to figure out what sticks. I'm not saying that. Don't throw everything at the wall. See what's working and do more of it. You have to have creatively behind the scenes an intent and a passion and a vision for what something's going to be, and then understanding how maybe this can work later on once you have it in the bag. Like, oh, this was a big thing. We can do this with that now. Kind of like there are things in this show that will reverberate throughout, different productions, whether it takes place in this timeline or not. And you're only going to care about them because it was done well here. So I understand if this ain't your character, in the way that I get a lot of people don't care about Ethan Hunt in the Mission Impossible films. But there's 6 other characters in those films, and each film was totally different from the last, even if it was made by the same director. But yet they all have a through line. And the through line is that they're going to have to do an impossible mission. So like, long as Star Wars is having a struggle between somebody internally or globally, there needs to be some kind of actual choice and consequence, and it's a Star Wars. If it isn't, then it's just science fiction with laser swords, and who cares? Space fantasy with laser swords and action figures, and who cares?
Well, that was a great TED talk, Rob, but it still doesn't change the fact that I don't like these characters. Nothing that you said changes anything about whether or not I like these characters.
Josh, I'm not here to change your. I couldn't get anyone here to change my mind about what I'm going to go see a James Cameron movie. Right? And there's nothing any of you could say that's going to change my mind on that. However, if we're going to have a discussion about it, let's have a discussion. So long as you know that everyone's having an informed discussion and they're not just selling you, regurgitating internet talking points. When I hear your opinion, I'm hearing your opinion. That I value. What I don't value is when I feel like I'm hearing YouTube, Twitter, Reddit talking points, And I don't think anyone appreciates that level of discourse.
So is that what you're saying I'm doing, is regurgitating YouTube?
No, you're giving me your legitimate opinion, which is why I value it, and I appreciate it. I don't agree with it, but I do see where you're coming from. I would say that when you're looking at stuff like Luke Skywalker versus Han Solo, like that's a story about a friend who abandoned his friend for money and then at the end showed up for friendship. He put friendship over money. And that's a guy who wasn't doing that before that. That's the arc. That doesn't make him better than Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker was committed. The other guy wasn't committed. It's his friendship with Luke that he actually cares about someone other than himself at the very end of that movie.
And I understand that. I do. But again, it doesn't change the fact that other people's love for that character over Luke has over the years soured my opinion on the character of Han Solo, not to mention other things that have been done to him to change the perspective.
I think you must be looking forward to the Taika Waititi stuff then, and Lindelof film that's coming out, because that'll be totally different, wouldn't it? In an era that's not.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not gonna commit to liking anything at this point.
Or the Ryan trilogy, maybe that's
No, we'll pass on that. I'm shocked.
All right, let's go in reverse order and wrap this up. Let's go in old boy. You got any last thoughts? Anything you want to add? What are you looking forward to? What are you not looking forward to? What do you hate?
I look forward to it all, honestly, man. Like I try to keep like a pretty optimistic look about it, but if anything, I'll say I'm looking forward to most is probably, gosh, I don't even know, Acolyte maybe, but that's so far away. Who even knows what's going on with that?
2 years probably. 2 years away probably. But at the same time, really, yeah.
And I don't even know exactly why that would be my main choice, but it just seems like
it's the mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mystery. Nick,
I know exactly what Ahsoka is gonna do. I know exactly what's gonna happen.
Who's got the best mustache in Andor, Nick? Who's got the best mustache in Andor?
I like that guy Nardani. He was pretty good on the bridge. No, all I want to say is, in my opinion, this show was an absolute breath of fresh air to Star Wars. I think it came in the perfect time for me after Kenobi. I was on on a low, and I really think, man, like I was thinking about having a little break or something like that, but no, on every aspect really, visually, choreography. I'm really happy this show made the Empire feel like evil again. It really, like, because I was a bit annoyed with the what do you call them in Kenobi.
Interesting, Nick. Hey, Josh, what would you recommend right now? Like, if people want to get into Star Wars, or they want to, see more of the kind of things to get a better understanding of where you're coming from, right? Like what would you recommend? Like, I would recommend like the Ronin book. I really love that book. No one's read it, but like, what would you actually recommend? What do you dig?
I don't know, man. I don't think my opinion really matters at this point. I don't know. I mean, always go back to the original trilogy. Go back to what started it all, and then go from there. Watch it all in order like the rest of us, and then form your own opinion.
What about the Star Wars disco? Do you think that was big when it came out during the original trilogy? Did you like the Star Wars disco? No?
Yes.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. We're all gonna go. Show's much better with Jason. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Go.
Appreciate
I love
it,
you, Josh. I want to give you a big ol' hug.
Love you
Listen to
too,
some
Rob.
jizz. All right, gotta go. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye. Rob is wrong. Josh is right. I'm sorry, I'm a dick.